Hello and welcome back to another awesome episode of Historical Recreations. Ever wanted to own your own miniature Columbarium diorama? Sure, we all have. Today on Historical Recreations we'll be creating one of these. It is a miniature, fully, almost encased diorama for funeral urns. Want to learn? Join me. And today in building your columbarium, a very special thing, I had went to a dollar store and had found this box. You can see it's in a compartment box, and each and every one of the boxes has a very particular space for something like beadwork, and I thought that's the perfect box to build our columbarium. I'm using a pair of scissors today, a number 4 watercolor brush, and two very special instruments that I'll be using to build our urns. Today's medium of choice is air-dried clay. The brand I'm using today is Amos, and it is white. You're going to also need two very special colors to create the stonework, which is titanium white, number 901, and number 999, acrylic black. You're going to need some type of hard, sturdy base to put your columbarium on, and the choice of stonework that I'll be using to create our urns today. I'm using a violet number 941, a pastel enamel number 970, a pastel blue number 973, Chinese red number 919, pastel marine number 972, olive green number 639, a copper number 672, and a gold ochre number 609. And you'll notice that all the colors are very muted. There's nothing bright here. And lastly, I have this. It's a piece of floral foam. When you're painting or using any type of materials to paint your urns, you might want to stick it on a needle and then put that needle into the floral foam to dry. Everything else is in the tutorial. When I first started this project, taking it on, I had to look at different types of urns and what they look like. And these are some three-dimensional designs, and here's some side views and stuff like this. And I love this box one over here. Very, very special. So now that we know what these need to look like and the shape and stuff, let's get out our air-dried clay and start creating. So I got my air-dried clay. And the color of choice today I'm just using is white. However, any color, because what we're going to be doing is painting over them. So you can see the shape of most of the urns if you look very carefully here. This one, this one, this one, this one. They all have that inverted trapezoid look to it. So what we want to do is create a cylinder. Okay. And make the base longer like that. Okay, now we're cooking. And create a lid. I'm going to create there's so many different types of lids to this. I particularly like this one over here, just because of the look of the lid. It's kind of classic. So, and we're going to put this right on there, and boom, we have got a little container. Look at that. Now we have 36 compartments that we need to create, and here at Historical Recreations I'm going to do something very special. As you can see, we have all of these different types of vessels out here. I'm going to create 36 different types of urns to put in each and every one of those containers. Are you ready? Let's do this. Look at these little guys, they are done. How do you know that they're done? Well, the air-dried clay bounces like that when it is completely dried. The next step is to use something like this. This is an awl. Be very careful. That is a very, very pointed and very sharp instrument. And we use something like this to just poke very carefully into the bottom of our air-dried clay. And now we can paint completely around this. Put this in something supportive and let it dry overnight. I need to complete all of these urns. Let's do it. I am 99.99% done with painting my urns. The only one that's left, I'm going to be doing a demonstration on how I painted the urns, is this one. Now I'm going to demonstrate how I muted these colors down. I'm using today a pastel marine, the copper as the base, and the pastel enamel to create a new color. Today, let's start mixing in the colors going from lightest into our more darker color, which would be the copper. And I'm going to mix a little bit of the pastel marine into the pastel enamel. Hopefully we'll have a nice green base color. Very, very light tinge there. And I'm going to add a bit of the copper in there. And we're going to create a ceramic finish. It's going to be quite different than all the other ones. Create each and every one of your urns differently, because that's how you would see it in the columbarium. Unless they are couples, they would probably have matching urns. So if you want to have two urns that were exactly alike, oh, I love this color. You'll see how I painted this. Two urns that were exactly alike for husband and wife, for a partner. Very, very, very easily. Just go around. Paint the whole entire urn. You can do the lid separately if you wanted to do. I love that the lid is matching with the base. There it is. Smooth that out very gently. And once you get all of your urns painted, you can put them into one of these guys to dry. Once you get your urn finished, you can just stick it right here in your foam and let them dry. And painting our columbarium base today, I'm using a lot more black than I am white today. Again, the colors are a black number 999 and a titanium white number 901. And I want this base to be much darker than the stonework on our, but we're going to create the perfect base for our diorama. Now prepping our box. Isn't this a great box? As you can see, everything is a nice deep container we can put this in. We have to paint this a beautiful marble stone gray today. However, before we do that, we need to take off these tabs here, and I'm going to take off this door, and I'm also going to take off the top tab that's up here. All this needs to be very carefully taken off, and because this is soft plastic, it can be just either cut off or taken off. These side pieces, I may want to put some stone around here, so we'll see what this becomes. However, let's now clean up our box. We have our box all cleaned up as I have done. Let's now mix up the beautiful marble color here. Today I'm using a titanium white and the 999 black. And let's get a palette and mix up a very light tone. Now if you look very carefully, our base is this tone, so we want the marble to be lighter than this one. Okay. In prop making, there's always trials and errors. You discover all kinds of unique things in prop making, and with this diorama, I had learned the little panels come out. I had done the first two rows with it, painting it in very, very carefully with my brush like this, and then realized it snagged and pulled one of these panels out. So now I can actually paint these panels individually, and it's going to be so much easier to finish this off because I struggle with this. But just sharing trials and errors of prop making on things that go wrong. One thing is that I'm trying to make sure that each and every one of those boxes are completely coated, and on top of that we got to do the back, so that's going to break the light barrier. If you missed any holes, if you do the outside or the back of this box, it's going to stop that light, so any of your mistakes will not be shown. All right, let me finish off this, and I'm going to finish off these panels. Today I did something really extra special. I had a piece of overhead projector plastic, or called OHP, and I had put it on top of our little monument and traced around it with a permanent magic marker. Now you can wipe off any marks that you make with a permanent magic marker with rubbing alcohol, so don't worry about making a mistake. I also made 2 windows in 2 of the boxes to show vacancy. I kind of like the idea of how the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland or Disney World says, "We have 999 ghosts. We have room for 1 more. Any volunteers?" So we have spaces for 2 more urns, or someone who wants to join our little monument. So now let's do something extra special. I have some gloss finish over here, and to bring our stone finish to life, I'm now going to paint it down with a large soft brush. This one here happens to be a number 12. So let's now varnish our marble. That looks really good. Okay, now finishing up the last bit of our varnish on the interior of all of our boxes. Let's let this dry. In bringing your little urns to life, I have 4 more of these to go. All of these over here have been washed down. I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. I used a bit of water and a bit of our 999 black, and I created a very light slurry like this to our 999 black. And basically you're going to need something to stick in there, say like the pins I had shown you, or the awl, and we're just going to wipe this slurry down on all sides of our tiny urn. And what this will do is any cracks or crevices or small detailing, that will bring that to life. And you can moderate this to the amount that you want. See, now we have the lid is completely shown now. There's a line now. Before I didn't see it, but there's a line now. And you just want to now put these up to dry, and we can now put our urns into our monument. It looks so good. Foam core, yes, now that we finished our base, let's take that away. I did some little bit of measurements on here. This foam core happens to be 1 inch thick. I got this at my local supply store. Very, very great for building this, a frame to frame in a columbarium. And now that I have this, let's get our hot glue gun out and let's start assembling this plus our base. Into the home stretch right now, I've just mixed up a bit of lighter gray, about 2 shades lighter than the cement that I had just put on there, the cement gray. And I'm using today a sea sponge. And I'm going to be doing a faux finishing technique to create texture on our cement. So let's load this up and let's start applying. Yeah. Really like concrete right there for a miniature. Adding something really extra special. This is the size of my pencil compared to these portraits. If you're wondering where I got these images off of, they're from Pixabay. They have over 1.5 million images you can use, and I'm going to create itty bitty teeny tiny frames around these, and I'm going to put them next to the urn. A lot of columbariums allow you to put artificial flowers and portraits of your loved ones in there. So let's create some framed pictures. Just a tiny overview of what we have created. We've created all of these urns and they've been washed down, they've come to life. I had created 4 small microscopic photographs here and even a tiny book, and one of my favorite pieces right here is the box with the little feet on top of it. So now with our flowers over here drying, which I wanted to put in there, and a small gift from somebody who is going to be remain anonymous, we're going to put all this together now. Isn't that a cute red box? Fateful handy dandy glue gun unplug is now with me. Let's let this warm up. And we need to choose the coordinations for what urns to put in what places. And putting all of our tiny urns in there. Where you see the pin, that's going to be where the window is going to be blank. So there's going to be two spaces that are open, but these came out really, really incredible. To share something very important today. I'm using two colors today. I'm using a titanium black number 999 and a titanium white number 901 for our columbarium because I have something very special to put down for flooring today. This here, as you can see, is replicated stone, and it is for flooring, or you can use it for a castle wall if you really wanted to, but it's landscaping modeling diorama material, and I got one of the last two sheets that I can find. So with that in mind, let's paint this up the perfect stone color, and let's do an aging wash on this and apply it. Now our beautiful piece, which is nothing more than a black wash of the 999 acrylic that's just been watered down to a 1:2 ratio. Water was let to dry for 1 hour. Check it out. Wow. Let's glue this down and finalize this. And I hope that you really enjoyed this episode of Historical Recreations, Miniature Columbarium Diorama. Gothically yours, Professor M.